We're checking out the second part to this story. I found out my husband was cheating and that he had a boyfriend. If you missed the first part to the story, you're gonna wanna watch it first, so I'll put it right up here on the screen.
Okay, so part 7, how I found out that my husband was cheating and had a boyfriend. So, there's a meeting at church with the staff and the pastor, which is my father-in-law, and essentially my father-in-law goes into the meeting, talks to the staff, doesn't tell them really the truth about what's going on. He essentially lies by omission. Okay, I wait outside because he wouldn't let me in, and he wouldn't let another staff member, which is kind of weird, who was my friend, our mutual friend, who came with me when I confronted my husband. And we both sat outside, and I was like, okay, like, they're probably gonna come out and like ask me whatever. No.
The way I would have been finding any way to eavesdrop on that meeting, I would literally be like army crawling through an air vent if I had to.
Everybody came out, ha, 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 he, he. Everything was fine. Asked me if I wanted some fucking pizza. Oh, you want to have pizza? We're having pizza. I was like, no, I don't want no fucking pizza. What the f is going on? But I talked to one of the deacons, and he had no idea. He had no idea. And so I told him, and I thought that people would care, but they didn't. I mean, they pretended like they did. Okay. And also, meanwhile, all of this is going on, right? In the background of all of that is still my husband and these people who had told me what the f was going on about him cheating. And he's messaging them back and forth, and he's like, isn't this enough already? Like, are we even now? Ba-da-da-da-da. Like, he's hitting them up, telling them, like, you know, watch your back, basically. Don't f with me anymore. He's acting all wild and crazy.
Of course he is, because he's guilty and he's mad that he got caught and exposed for it.
I'm trying to, like, keep my head on straight. Like, I'm sick. My marriage just imploded in my face. Everything I thought that I knew is like, what the f? And like, my head's just going like this at the time.
Maybe you should have had a slice of pizza. You deserved it, honestly.
So all of that is going on, and I'm just like getting all this information. I'm questioning all of these things, like, what the hell, and trying to go to work at the same time. Okay. Also, this goes back to my mother-in-law. Soon after I found out that he was cheating, they had told people at the church that they wanted me to move out of the house. My husband and I were renting a house from them, and they told people, yeah, like, she needs to move out now. Okay, when I say soon, I mean like a couple weeks after I found out he was cheating. So then,
where are you gonna go?
My mother-in-law, like, after Christmas Eve, she doesn't talk to me. She doesn't hit me back for a long time. Okay, like sometime January or some shit like that. Anyway, it was a long time. And I was like, this is weird. And she hits me up and asks me, hey, who can I talk to about
your
rent?
son?
And I said to her, I would never withhold anything from you if I had it. If I had the money, I would absolutely give it to you, and you know that. I said, as far as I know, he is sleeping on your couch. So ask him. Because he had stopped paying every single bill. He just stopped. No, I'm not going to do it anymore. And so I was going to work, paying all the bills that he just dropped off the planet with. And when I say paying all the bills, I mean all the bills. He didn't give a f about a phone bill. He didn't give a f about a car note.
Well, I would have let his phone bill and his car payment go unpaid, unless you share a car.
Nothing, okay? And while this was all happening as well, I had to close my bank accounts because he was swipey swipe all the money away, and also overdrafting my account, using my credit cards to like buy fucking games and shit on his phone. Like he was hundreds of dollars of fucking tokens on some stupid ass game on his phone. Like it was wild, okay? I had to close bank accounts and declare fraud on my accounts. So she's sitting over here asking me for rent, for rent money, and also wanting me to move out, which I was trying to gather my money so that I could move out, but I had a new job and I was living in a city. Rent is expensive anywhere, but this is like a very expensive city. And it's hard to afford somewhere to live on your own there.
Especially when it happens when you're very unprepared, and obviously you weren't planning on moving out anytime soon. You were married, you were splitting the bills, you were renting from your in-laws. Oh, the rug just got pulled right from under your feet.
So I was going all up and down the state trying to find somewhere that would be affordable. But I still had to gather the money to have a deposit and all of that stuff, and that takes time. Like, I'm not trying to mooch off of anybody. If anybody knows me, like, they know that I'm not that person. And so for her to do that, mind you, they weren't hurting for money. Like, his family has money, okay? They do not, they're fine. They're fine. Anyway, so yeah, she's asking me for money when her son's sitting at home. And so during this time, I am sick. I am dealing with him, still harassing people. I am dealing with having to move out, trying to figure out where the I'm gonna go, knowing these people want me to move out. It was a lot. It was so much, and I could barely handle it, and it led me to the hospital, 5150'd.
No! I was just about to say, this is the worst Christmas ever.
Yeah, Greenleaf. The funny thing about that is I was introduced to the show Greenleaf through my in-laws. My mother-in-law was like, oh my gosh, you have to watch this show. I just can't believe people are like this in church. I cannot believe it. This is so crazy. And I was like, wow, I really got to watch this show. So me and my fucking husband watched the show together. Okay. And he was like, it was interesting as we were watching, he was like getting all weird. Like he couldn't finish it, especially when it got to like the, abuse and things like that. Like he was like, I can't watch it no more. But yeah, it was my in-laws that introduced me to the show Greenleaf, and then they were fucking living Greenleaf. They were living Greenleaf. They were that family.
If you guys have seen Greenleaf, please put it in the comments and let me know, but I haven't. So, it's a drama series, 5 seasons. Okay, it's about a Greenleaf family. They run a Memphis fellowship church. They appear to be a loving and caring clan, but beneath the surface exists a scandalous amount of secrets and lies, greed, adultery, and sibling rivalry. And that just lists some of them because I'm not going to read the whole thing. So yeah, quite literally, you are living the Greenleaf plot. Well, they are. That reminds me of from Euphoria. Is this fucking play about us?
Wait, is this fucking play about us?
That's what that is. It is. It should be.
We left off on I was 5150'd. So like this comment says, trust me when I say the church knows everything and they will not help. That is so very freaking true. Mm-hmm. So I lost essentially everybody that I thought would be around for me at the time. Damn near all the people at the church didn't give a fuck about me. They all stayed at the church, even though they knew what was going on. They knew how awful his dad was as the pastor, sweeping things under the rug, hiding them, telling his son not to turn in the person who, inflicted childhood abuse.
Well, of course, they gotta protect their family name and their perfect, image that they have, especially when they're running a church. You think they're gonna admit to everything? Absolutely not. That would be the right thing to do.
We don't do that here.
All of those things, they knew that. They knew it all. And they're still there to this day. And I was just made out to look like the crazy person. And I also had a friend, it was my brother-in-law's girlfriend. I thought we were real close. She was in my wedding, whole thing. But she was trying to get back with my brother-in-law at the time. And so when I tried to share with her, like, oh my gosh, my husband cheated on me, yada, 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 she didn't want to hear it. She was like, nah, girl. And that really devastated me to my core because I thought we were friends for real. But I guess I should have known better. But again, I was young. I was very young. So you live and you learn. So I lost everyone from the church. I lost people who I thought were friends. And the church didn't listen to me at all. And that was just a blow because I grew up in church, and my understanding of what church is supposed to be is a place of support, and it wasn't. And to all the people who aren't Christian or who have left the church, I get it. It's church. They're that people. I know that. Okay, you don't have to tell me. Please do not come in the comment section and tell me, girl, you should have fucking known. I didn't. Now I know, and we can move past it.
I mean, no one can sit there and say you should have known. I wouldn't go that far.
Anyway, because of all of that, I was very, very depressed.
Rightfully so.
So I reached out to the hospital. I don't know why. I thought, I was going to be like the famous people that go away for like 3 months because they have depression and they go and, stay wherever. But I was like looking for an inpatient treatment because I was just like, I can't keep going to work. I'm going to. Okay.
I'm not laughing at the subject matter by any means, but the way she tells it is just, she's a funny one.
So I call the hospital and I am like, hey, I need to talk to somebody. So they kept rerouting me all around, you call this number. Okay, I'm going to put you over here. Da, da, da. Finally get to one person and she's like, yeah, you need to call this number. And she was rude to me, by the way. And then she's like, you need to call this number. And I was like, I just got off the phone with that number. And she was just being super rude. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, and then I hung up on her.
Oh.
And because I did that, they have to send the cops over. So the cops came to my house. I didn't know they were out there, and they were out there for a while banging on my door because I was in my bedroom with the door closed. They come and I answer and they're like, do you want help? And I was like, yes.
Yes.
That is exactly what I've been asking for.
Yep.
Help. So I think I'm going to get help. I walk outside. They handcuff me and put me in the cop car, take me somewhere. I didn't know where I was going. They didn't tell me where I was going. And they dropped me off at the hospital to be 5150'd, and that was one of the scariest things that has ever happened to me. And it was worse for my mental health. It was so scary in there. It was scary in there.
I believe
so
you.
I just like laid in the bed. Some guy came up, called me the N-word, almost attacked me. The cops there had to grab him and throw him on the bed and cuff him down. It was wild in there. So yeah, all of that happened.
Girl, your story almost sounds made up because of how bad it is. You know, when it's just one bad thing after another and you're like, well, this can't possibly be real. It's like, no, that's just my life.
And it's a funny thing how abusive relationships work. The only person that I wanted to be there to pick me up was my husband. He didn't pick me up. The hospital wouldn't let him. They sent my sister. So my
That
sister
makes me
came.
so sad.
And mind you, a little rewind, while I'm in 5150'd,
What the hell? Did anyone else notice that cat back there? I did not see a cat this entire time.
he calls me. Okay? The hospital hands me the phone and he's like, I talked to your mom, blah 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 blah. He's all upset at venting to me about some well, I'm 5150. That's the type of person that he was. That's how not here he was, okay? And how not here I was because me in 5150 because of his dumbass, I'm listening to him vent to me about him talking to my mom. Okay? Anyway. So...
Yeah, like, please tell me about your problems. Please. Girl, yeah, you were young and possibly naive. I think you should have just cut him off from the day you found out.
Abusive relationships. My sister drops me off at home. He comes because that was the only thing that was going to make me feel better. Again, I was in an abusive relationship. I know that's stupid. Do not come in the comments section and say anything about it. I know. Anyway, and like...
There's no judgment here.
It was dumb. When you're in those situations, you're just not thinking straight, and I know I wasn't. What is life at that point is a question I would ask myself frequently. When he came to the house after I got dropped off, after being 5150'd, I asked him to take me to get some food. And he had the audacity to tell me, unprovoked, it's over between us. I never asked him to be with me. I never brought it up. And he just had... He said this multiple times, not even just like that night. In general, it's like he had to remind me, it's over between us. Like...
Yeah, I figured it was over between us the day that you were banging somebody else. I gathered that. Thank you.
I don't know if he wanted me. To me, it felt like he wanted me to beg for him. And I wasn't going to do that. If you don't want to be with me, don't be with me. I'm not going to beg some man to be with me no matter how much I want him. And also, sir, you have a boyfriend. You say you don't even like me. Okay? But again, abusive relationship, toxic. And did his parents call to see if I was okay? No. Anyway, I end up moving out eventually, and when I told his parents, they didn't care. And eventually, and also during that time, some emails were sent to the church. This is also getting very long, but some emails were sent to the church, and I will make one more video and try and land the plane.
Yes! I want to hear about the emails to the church. I also want to know, does he end up with said boyfriend? Like, do they continue the relationship and they end up together? I have so many questions. But before we get to the emails, let's take a sip of water, and that means you. You need to drink your water. Hope you're having a good day. Cheers! Guys, look how cute this is. Oh, you can't see it. Hello? It's a little straw topper. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's a bow. You can't see it. It's a little pink bow. I bought a whole pack of different ones.
Let me just say, my in-laws are trash, and they did not care. They don't care about their own children, their son, and they definitely didn't give a f about me.
Please tell us how you really feel.
I just want to share this story because it's weird, but when I was still living at that house, my mother-in-law hadn't talked to me for like a couple months, and then out of the blue she hits me up and is like, hey, do you need some groceries? I'm going to the grocery store. She was going to Costco, and I was like, yeah, like I thought she was, you know, throwing out an olive branch, you know. So I was like, okay, like she's gonna do something nice for me. Maybe this is her, like, I'm sorry or something like that. She goes and gets the groceries, then comes back and is like, yeah, so, like, pay me back. And I was like, okay, like, I don't have the money right now because you went to Costco and bought groceries for me, and, like, I'm just one person. I don't need a big old Costco situation here. And then, weirdly, like, this is weird, 1 week later, she asks me again if I want groceries. I said no, because I'm like, I can't afford that. Like, what? But I was like, why is she
That's so random.
Again. 1 week. You bought Costco. Costco's gonna last me more than a week.
Maybe she's just trying to make money off you and has extra groceries from her Costco haul. And she's like, hey, I'm gonna go pick them up. And then she's just making you pay for Costco items. That's actually kind of smart. Terrible. Don't do that. But smart on her behalf.
And she wanted me to pay her back, knowing the predicament I was in. Like, that's... Something else was going on. Something was awry, okay? Anyway, so I ended up being able to move out. It was a really hard time trying to scrape up pennies to do it. But I did. And I ended up having to move far away from my hometown. Like, I moved out of town because I could not afford anything. I literally had to pick up my entire life and go somewhere else because he left me high and dry, and nobody gave a
Probably for the best. Like, I want to be as far away from that whole thing as possible.
nobody. And that was just so hard for me to move to the middle of bump nowhere because of what this man did to me. So I move, I let them know that I moved out, and basically his dad just responded and said, okay. Then soon after that, somebody sent an email to the staff at the church, and I start getting phone calls and blown up from my husband, who sent this, blah blah blah, like, this isn't good, my dad is gonna take legal action, like, you better, you know, figure this out, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, what the f is going on? Like, I literally had no idea what the f was going on. Then my sister, after that email goes out, my sister ends up sending an email to the staff at the church, and so she sent it to the staff, and then my father-in-law thought that she sent the email to the entire congregation. So he sends an email to the entire congregation, and he obviously didn't read the email that she sent because he thought that she was talking about the childhood abuse that happened, but she didn't say anything about that. So he was freaking out that the church was hearing all of this through email. I wonder why he was freaking out. Anyway.
I think we know why he was freaking out.
During live stream, church service, he gets up there, reads the email on live stream.
Is this live stream online somewhere that I can go and watch?
And proceeds to name myself and my sister, and essentially says that he's going to pursue legal action for defamation against us. Okay? And when this happens, my brother-in-law hits me up and he's like, I never want to talk to you again. You and your family, basically. And I was like, holy shit. It's interesting. And I get it to a point, but when you see it in a meshed family and a narcissistic parent, right? You see how, like, the inner workings are. And even though his father was wrong, his father's a liar, his father was hiding stuff under, you know, the rug and all of that stuff, he will still ride or die for his shitty-ass father.
Well, I mean, let's also keep in mind your husband's own personal actions and what he did, so.
Because of enmeshment and narcissism. That's just a tangent. But it was very interesting to see play out in real time. And I wish I could say, you know, things kind of died down after that, but it didn't really. I was still going through this whole case with the abuse that had happened, and that took a really, really huge toll on me for a very long time. I felt like I was always on edge with the, you know, investigators talking to me and everything, and trying to get information, because it was getting weirder by the day, especially with the way his parents were handling things. Even the investigators could see that his dad was trash. So it was a very freaking long road
Sounds like it.
A very long road.
All right. Well, I don't feel like the plane is fully landed, if I'm being honest. I feel like maybe we're still descending. If you guys want to hear more to the story, let me know and I will go fish those up. You know what I'm saying? Stay classy out there, stay sassy, and I'll see you tomorrow.